Hi guys, happy Monday. Holy crap, is it hot? Yes, I'm getting better. It is burning up, so screw this. Alright, so we have 25 stories that are supposedly supposed to scare the shit out of you. So we will go into that in just a little bit right after I explain what I've been doing with Annabelle. So, alright, now, according to the Warrens, if you watch the podcast with Tony Spera, I'm losing all respect for them as paranormal investigators now. So, it's ridiculous. So, yesterday I was listening to a podcast with Tony Spera about the Annabelle doll. It was supposed to be about the Amityville Horror, so I went ahead and I watched that last night. I did not realize how ridiculous the first Amityville is. It's ridiculous. It's short. It's so short. It's long and drawn out. I don't remember ever watching that one when I was a child. I remember the one where they had the medium come in and they debunked it. So that could have been a different movie. I think that was Poltergeist. I'm not sure. But, alright, so he goes on to say that, the Annabelle doll has to be moved in a certain way. And you have to have a certain, not any priest, but a special priest. That's really creepy, Tony. That's really creepy. And then you have to dip your... you have to be blessed. You have to dip your hands in holy water. And then you have to put giant rubber gloves on. And then you have to take a comforter. And you have to wrap that doll in the comforter and transport her to wherever she's supposed to be. So, okay. It's pretty sad when the Catholic priest doesn't even know the Hail Mary. That's just ridiculous. So, right? It is. You have to, you should know that if you're Catholic. I don't even know that, or I know it. And I'm not even Catholic. So what? And then he goes on to say, well, if you don't believe in the Christian God, then you have no room to be doing paranormal investigations. And then he goes on about Ouija boards and stuff. So obviously, they are taking everything from the Roman Catholic point of view, which is totally stupid, ridiculous. And I just don't have that much more. I'm losing my not faith. I don't really have faith in them, but I'm losing my, they're just proving to me to be not credible people whatsoever, and they're in it for the money. Just like he said how Ed and Lorraine would find a place that they thought was haunted, that they would drive, they would turn off their lights, and they would park. And Ed would sketch took about Ed 30 minutes to sketch a picture of that house. And then he'd have Lorraine take the picture up to the house and ask if they would like a portrait of their house. And then 99.9% of the time, the people would invite them in, and that's how they got their investigations. That's pretty weird, and that's just odd altogether right there. Who does that? That's creepy, especially back in the 60s. That's not right. So anyways, but you have to be a Christian, you have to believe in God, quote, to be a paranormal investigator. So yeah, but that's just according to Tony Spera. So I just thought that was a little ridiculous. I mean, really ridiculous. So what I've been doing is, yes, I know this is pretty risky and it's probably not the best idea. So I'm taking all the caution. Well, no, I'm not. I'm not taking any precautions. Of course I am. I don't believe that doll can hurt you or kill anybody, and I think that's ridiculous. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the Annabelle doll from the first movie, the replica prop, and I am taking it, and I am literally focusing on the doll in wherever it is, Connecticut. And I'm focusing on the doll, and I am pulling energy from that doll, because you cannot contain whatever is around that doll. You can't contain that energy. So I have literally been kind of funneling in energy from the true Annabelle doll into mine. So we'll see what happens. That's my story. That's all I got for that. Nothing weird has happened with her. My Siri at night will turn on as if somebody has spoken to it. And yes, I can help you. How can I help you? Let's look that up. What is she talking to? Who is she talking to? And then I noticed the braids on her hair. One will be over one shoulder, or the other will be on this side of the shoulder. It just small things, so it's nothing actually crazy. So, but yes, I'm losing my my interest in them. Not my interest, but I'm losing my respect for them as paranormal investigators, and especially the paranormal investigators that claim that homosexuals are possessed by ghosts. I think that's really lame. It's really lame. I think that should be retracted, and I think they should issue an apology. Anyways, alright, I want to go over these 22 terrifying true ghost stories and strange encounters. And this is by Caroline Cox. And this is really cool too. This is thelineup.com, so this is some really cool information. Just stories that are amazing. So for our 31 days of Halloween. Alright, now we have Happy Birthday Boo is the number one. So Reddit user, patents patented. Alright. Has an eerie story about sharing their home with a deaf former tenant. While they and their family were in the process of purchasing the house, you can hear my crows. The renter at the time passed away suddenly in the house from natural causes in his mid-40s. Soon after the new family moved in, Patented's 2-year-old daughter began to talk to a ghost in the house. So that's not uncommon because it's a child. Alright, so given that she was 2 years old, Patented assumed, I hate that name, that she was just impressionable. So Halloween had recently passed, and she did a Halloween book that she enjoyed looking through. Oh, little kids are so sweet. So the daughter's reports of seeing a ghost continued, although she never appeared to be scared of the man she claimed to see. Alright, now, Patented didn't know how to feel about the so-called ghost, but just in case, they told the ghost several times that he was welcome to stay in the house, or to leave, whichever would make him happier. We hear you. So, one morning, while Patented and their daughter were leaving for her school, she said that it was the man's birthday and they needed to sing him happy birthday. As a 2-year-old, she was generally obsessed with birthdays. So Patented didn't think too much of it, but joined their daughter in singing happy birthday to their home's former tenant. So that evening, Patented looked up the obituary of the man who might have been haunting their home, and of course, it was his birthday. So that's just really interesting. I mean, that is really interesting that the children pick up on that so much more than we do as adults. They see, they're not tainted, they're more pure, and yes, it's just wonderful. So I'm kind of jealous of that. Well, actually, no, I'm not. So that takes me back to the Amityville, where the littlest girl, she's talking to Jody, who is this pig in the window. It's very odd. So now, number 2, check the front door. Alright, so this is really cool. This all comes from Reddit, so I really like these stories. Alright, now, check the front door. Reddit user Peach Skylines was the occasional babysitter of a 2-year-old boy. They had been warned that the boy would sometimes seem to hold conversations with his grandpa, who had passed away before the boy was born. Given that they were prepared to expect a few creepy things during the evening, but this went above and beyond. So, that night, the boy pointed to an empty wall and simply said, "Grandpa." Then he gripped the chair he was sitting in and began to chatter his teeth uncontrollably. Understandably freaked out, Peach Skylines decided to put the boy to bed. On the way home, or on the way to his upstairs bedroom, they realized that the front door was, for some reason, unlocked. They locked it, jiggled the door to confirm that it had locked, then went upstairs to tuck the boy in bed. Alright, why am I going blurry? I think it's just my eyes. I really think it's my eyes making me look blurry. I don't know what is wrong with me. It's this camera. Whatever. There, that's better, I think. I don't know. Yeah, I can see my redness, so, of course. Alright, so 20 minutes later, once the kid was asleep, they went back downstairs and saw the front door was inexplicably unlocked again. They checked the house for an intruder, but found no one. and spent the rest of the night waiting on the edge of terror for the parents to arrive home. Needless to say, they thought twice before agreeing to sit for that family again. That wouldn't be so bad. It wouldn't be too bad. I mean, yeah, I don't think it'd be too bad, but who knows? A lot of people can't handle anything. A lot of people can't handle much of nothing. So, alright, now we have the farmer. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, nope. The rescue. Alright, Reddit user xDannyX has an unsettling tale, albeit one with a happy ending. So there was a family. Okay, their family was in the car together when they hit a patch of ice, and xDannyX was ejected through the window of the car and out onto the road. Oh, they tried to stand, but were brought to the ground by a shattering pain in their shoulder. They don't remember if they passed out or fell asleep, but they had a vivid memory of a force with strong hands lifting them to their feet and pushing them forwards towards the car and their family. So at the time, they assumed it was their father, but after the dust settled, they learned that their father wasn't able to search for them. So what or who lifted them to their feet and brought them to their loved ones so their family would know they were still alive? That's a really happy one. I like that one. That's really sweet. That ghost or whatever did it. So, very interesting. So, okay, now we have the farmer. So, Tucker 48, okay, was helping his 3-year-old son take a bath one evening when his son asked him, "Why does Grandma call Mommy blank blank question mark?" The blank blank equals a private nickname Tucker 48's deceased mother-in-law had called her daughter. So the grandma had passed away when the son was only about 4 months old. Yeah, 4 months, making it highly unlikely that the son would be able to remember that name. When they asked where their son had heard the name, he replied, "The farmer told me." Okay, and explained that the farmer was his friend. At the time, they lived in a 1930s house in Pasadena. The next week, Tucker 48 witnessed his son engaging in a long conversation with the invisible farmer. At that point, he and his wife became unsettled by their son's new friend, especially when the son revealed that the farmer would often walk out of the room when his parents entered. Eventually, in the middle of the night, they heard the son say, "Grandpa says you and I can't be friends anymore." Aw, that's really good protection from the other side. When questioned, he revealed that his grandpa had said not to play with the farmer ever again. Since then, the farmer hasn't made another appearance. That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat that they do continue to protect us from the other side. I love that. So, now we have number 5, the man in the top hat. Alright, now when Redditor Swallows 4084 and their brother were young, they lived in an old house and witnessed something unexplainable. An unfamiliar man in a top hat walking into the living room. Decades later, Swallows 84 shared the story with their daughter. When asked if they believed in ghosts, minutes later their phone dinged. It was their brother who wrote, "I was just talking to partner about paranormal stuff. Do you remember the guy in the top hat?" That is synchronicity right there. That's really neat. That's really neat. Alright. So we have a picture's worth 1,000 words. So, alright, when Tucker 33 was 6 or 7, they were attempting to sleep on their grandparents' couch when they suddenly heard whispering. They turned around to see that a picture of their aunt was talking to them. Really? A picture was talking to them? The aunt's picture asked Tucker 733 to get their grandpa, so they went upstairs and brought them down. So the grandpa was annoyed to not actually see the aunt in the living room, but suddenly distracted by a noise outside. 3 people were attempting to steal the grandparents' car, and they would have gotten away with it if it had not been for the mysterious whispering picture of the aunt. Okay, now that's cool. That's cool. I mean, wow. that's like refreshing, and it's heartwarming to know that, to have that kind of something happen like that. So now we have Grandpa says hello. Alright, Redditor Janky Life showed the tale of his 4 younger cousins born after their grandpa had passed away. One morning as they came down for breakfast, they pointed to a picture of their grandpa and announced, "That's him," and said the man pictured in the photo was the same who comes and talks to us at night until we fall asleep sometimes. That's sweet. I really like that. That's really sweet. Alright, now we have 9. The Bunker from Hell. Ooh. Alright, this is cool. Alright, now, 20 years ago, an anonymous Redditor who lived in Switzerland visited an abandoned World War II bunker with some friends. Ooh. So the door to get into the bunker was locked, but there was a small peephole they were able to use to look in. From that vantage point, they saw a strange light at the end of a corridor, behind which there was a silhouette of a person, so as if someone in the hallway was holding a flashlight and shining it on them. Just then, they felt a huge slam on the door they were peeping through, as if someone was banging against it from the inside. They ran. God, I would too. Maybe. I might. Very interesting stories, guys. Very interesting. Alright, now we have, okay, oh, nope, there's more. Alright, now when they saw each other the next day at school, they convinced each other that some kids must have broken into the bunker somehow and played a prank on them. So, but when they went back later to investigate, their fears were confirmed. The door was indeed locked. There was no way anyone would have been able to get in. 20 years later, when the Redditor returned at the same spot, they still got chills. Okay. I would have tried to get in, but okay. Alright. 10 is Time After Time. Alright, now Casa de Paradise still doesn't know exactly what happened when they and a friend went for a mysterious hike while they were in high school. So the explanation they keep coming back to, though, is time travel. Ooh. The two arrived home from school at 2:45. Casa de Paris's mom would usually get home at 3. Casa de Paris left a note saying that they were going for a hike, and the pair set off exploring in the woods behind their home. So on the return trip, they passed around an area that they hadn't seen before, but where they found teepees put up around a lake, assuming someone was living there, obviously Native Americans. So they switched paths and continued on their way home. But when they arrived home, it was still a few moments before 3. I've had that happen too. I've had that happen, and it's very odd. Despite how long they've been out, the two have barely talked about it since, but they both believe they may have time traveled. I think that's true. I do. I've had that happen. It's very strange. I can't explain it, so anybody else can explain it, I would gladly like to know. 11. A nighttime visitor. So, this is really cool. So, Reddit Dong So Wrong 68, Dong So Wrong 68, was sitting up in bed one evening watching TV, facing the door of their room. With the door open, they were shocked to see a white figure hovering outside the open door, moving slowly back and forth. When Dong So Wrong 68, I can't do this article with that name in there. That's just Dong Wrong. Dong So Wrong. Alright, when Dong So Wrong looked directly at it, it looked back. Alright, Dong So Wrong 68 ran to get help from their brother, and they went through the house with a bat, but were unable to find anything that could explain what they'd seen. They never watched TV with the door open again. Okay. That's cool. I mean, I'm used to it. I'm conditioned to, all that kind of stuff, so it doesn't faze me a bit. Alright, now we have the Prisoner's Caress. Alright. So, RB Noodle Army? Where do people come up with these names? Has a harrowing tale of a historical haunting. While on a guided tour of an old Australian jail, they felt a slight mysterious pressure on their neck, as someone was constricting their windpipe. Ooh. No. They didn't think anything of it, that's it. Or that is, until their tour guide revealed that a man had once hung himself in that stairwell, and that people often reported feeling strangled there. I don't like that. No, I don't like that feeling. It kills me to almost wear something this tight. It used to not be this tight. But yeah, weight gain. Anyways, 13, the stranger's voice. So, while at a friend's house, a Reddit junkbot fell asleep on the couch. When they woke up, they decided to leave and went to their friend's closed bedroom door to say goodbye. Their response, although a casual "yup," sounded somewhat strange. The voice was so odd that Reddit junkbot opened the door to the room and discovered no one was there. Ooh. When their friend arrived back at the home, he revealed he was accustomed to hearing inexplicable voices there. Apparently, a boy had hung himself in the home, and everyone who lived there since heard the voice. The story about the suicide was corroborated by the next door neighbor, the deceased boy's brother. Wow. We have 14, the man at the lake. Wow. Alright, so when Reddit user Lana Glug's husband was a teen, alright, he camped out at his friend's aunt and uncle's place by the lake in the country. At some point during the night, he went down by the lake to take a leak, and saw a man across the lake. It struck him as strange to see another person out there walking around late at night. So he said hello, but the man didn't respond. That's funny. And suddenly disappeared. Lana Glug's husband went to the family he was staying with. When she found out, the aunt began crying. She said she had been seeing that man for some time, sometimes standing at the front of her bed during the night. The tension over her seeing things was so intense that she and her husband were headed for a divorce. Ooh. She was incredibly relieved to hear that someone else had experienced the same phenomenon. That's very odd. So, 15, the late shift. So Reddit user Trudenter was working night shifts as a security guard. One evening, he saw on the cameras that someone else was entering the building. He assumed it was just another security guard arriving early for their shift. But when they didn't enter the office with him, he began to worry. He searched all over the building. What movie is this bringing me to? I don't remember. I don't know. But didn't find anyone there. When they got home, they called their manager to see what the cameras had captured from around that time the man entered the building. So she said that the camera froze for an hour around that time. That's a little creepy. A little creepy. Alright, now 15. I already did the late shift. We have 16 now, the vision. So one night, Danish one's mother, who suffered from epilepsy, had a seizure and started to suffocate herself in her blankets. Paramedics arrived and got her breathing again, and they took her to the hospital around 4:30 a.m. So before Danish one had a chance to call their mother's mother, the grandmother called them. She said that she had a dream in which Danish one's mother visited her. The mother was bathed in golden light and said that she was dead. At that point, even the doctors didn't know that Danish one's mother was brain dead. Oh, wow. The grandmother had seen it in a dream long before anyone else knew. That's sad. That's really actually sad. Wow. Alright, now we have 17, the running girl. So when a Reddit user, I don't know, Weow6069 and their friends were in high school, they decided to spend some time ghost hunting in their small Illinois town. They went to a local bridge where people sometimes claimed that they saw the ghost of a young girl who had drowned there. So they got to the bridge around 3 a.m. and at first nothing happened. Then they heard a blood-curdling, horrifying scream. They began running back to their car, but all paused for a moment to witness something chilling. A girl running on all fours in the woods. Okay, that would creep me out. That would really creep me out right there. On all fours running through the woods. Someone's on some drugs. That's my explanation for everything now. If somebody does something really ridiculous, drugs. Okay, 18, man's best friend. Alright, now in college, Lily Yo-Yo I Need Go-Gurt. Wow. Was walking home with their sorority sisters around 2 in the morning when they saw an old man using crutches and walking a black dog. A few blocks along, they heard the sound of crutches coming up behind them again, and saw it was the same man, although this time he was walking a brown dog. They made eye contact with the man, commenting to him about how funny it was to keep running into each other, but he didn't answer. They kept walking, and then they heard the sound of crutches behind them. It was the same man again. But this time it was a yellow dog. Wow. To this day, they don't know the man, don't know how the man was catching up to them so quickly, or why the color of the dog kept changing. That's really weird. That's really weird. Huh. It's like the horse of whatever, changing colors in Wizard of Oz. Right now, 19, The Warning. One night, GNDCD 402 had an intense dream that a baby told him, "Please protect my sister," then showed them the image of a car crash between a silver Corolla, a car driven by GNDCD 402's friend, and a black Ford Explorer. So 402 called their friend and asked if her if she had a sister, to which the friend replied, "Well, my mom had a stillborn girl." So 402 gave their friend a drive where she needed that night. And when they watched the news that night, they saw a report on a black Ford Explorer that was involved in an accident. That's weird. And just really, I don't know, kind of strange. Now we have 20, the lady at the window. Alright, now S.J. Moore, 86, was visiting a graveyard with some friends on Halloween, of course. Right by the graveyard was a building which frequently housed restaurants, although restaurants in there often went out of business, and at the time the building was abandoned. Surprisingly, the lights were on in the former restaurant, and a woman wearing a pink dress was watching them from the window. She appeared to be following where they walked from window to window, moving so fast that she was gliding. Finally, they started running, but she still appeared at each set of windows before them, watching closely. That's different. 21. The Goodbye. Okay, after Reddit user Mustang Gold's grandmother passed away, their extended family participated in their typical ritual. The family creates a shrine for the dead. Oh, I like this. And at 7 p.m., for the first week after the death, they observe silence in order to allow the deceased to say goodbye. So on the final day, a glass vase that had been safely sitting in its position for years fell and shattered during the hour of silence. The family was understandably a little shaken up, but things only got stranger when their aunt called. They had been performing the ritual at her house when a door had suddenly slammed shut. The aunt's family had looked around all over, but couldn't figure out what made the door suddenly close. Mustang Gold says that they're not sure something supernatural happened that day, but it was sure was an alarming coincidence. Yeah, I don't know. I believe the ancestors do that. Now we have the footprints. So, Redditor, what you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about that? Grew up in a house in an area that used to be prairie land. So over the years, they and their mother discovered a number of arrowheads on the land. Ooh, I like this. Over time, they came to the realization that the house was haunted. Often, they would hear inexplicable footsteps echoing throughout their home. One day, what you know about that's mom was out of town, so they invited a friend over. They headed down to hang out in the basement, but noticed on their way down that every poster in the home was skewed slightly to the left. Each poster and picture on the wall, 10 to 15 in all, were slightly skewed. So the door to the small storage room was also open with the light turned on. What you know about that? Crawled into the storage closet and called their mom to ask if there was any explanation. So, their mom didn't know what to say. She hadn't been in the basement for weeks before leaving on her trip. Just then, what you know about that? Looked into the storage bin and saw something they hadn't seen before. A mangled, distorted footprint in the dirt. That's different. That's really different. It's a little scary. Yeah, I wouldn't. That sounds like the Amityville Horror too. So that is it for our 31 days of Halloween. I hope you guys enjoyed these little stories. So if you guys have stories yourself that you want to bring and email to me, you go right ahead. If you want your stories read live, be my guest. I will read them for you. Just email me. My email's below. Everything's below. And I hope you guys have a great day. I love you all very much. Go feed those ancestors. So, I love you guys all the way from Venus. All the way back down. So, I will see you all tomorrow. Yes, feed your ancestors. So, alright guys, I love you all and thank you.